Good afternoon, everybody. From Phoenix, Arizona, I'm Mike Greenlee, Media Relations Director at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm sitting down with former Titan closer Vinnie Pestano. Vinnie, great to see you.
Great to see you too, Mike.
So, how have the big leagues been treating you?
It's been good so far. You know, it's almost at that break right now, so I can say the first 3 months has gone pretty well.
Talk about your role here in the major leagues. It's a little bit different than your college and minor league days.
Yeah, I'm still a late inning guy. I'm a setup man. Me and Tony Sipp been matching up in the 8th inning for our closer, Chris Perez. It's a position that I wanted to get going into the year. I didn't think I'd have it this soon, but I'm happy it's worked out that way.
Now, last time some of the Titan fans saw you was in Matt Brown's photo story. You've been up here about a year, but it's been kind of a long road back for you after hearing your elbow pop back in 2006. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty devastating, you know, happening in May, about a month before the draft. I didn't really know what was going to happen, but the Indians took a chance on me, ended up getting drafted and having surgery, signing, you know, going through that whole process. So, you know, it's been a battle. It's something I deal with every day. It's something I always keep on top of with treatment and stuff like that. But as long as I'm healthy, that's the most important thing. So.
Now, I know the issues, but tell some of the fans about the rigors and setbacks having to deal with recovering from Tommy John surgery.
It's just tedious. I mean, you're in there every day for, you know, 4 months before you even start throwing a baseball. And it's, you know, it's deep tissue massages, breaking up scar tissue, and it's shoulder work, and it's forearm work, and it's 3 hours a day of just stuff, one thing after another. And it can get pretty tiresome, and you know what, I think I'm better for it coming through that. You know, I hit every stop on the way up in the minor leagues. I didn't, you know, I didn't skip any levels. I had to prove myself at every level I was at, and you know, it's taken me a lot to get here, so I'm kind of relishing the opportunity.
Now, did you experience any trouble regaining any feel, rebuilding your calluses, finding your old arm slot, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, when I first started off, you know, when I first started throwing, basically after that 4 month off from the surgery, I thought I was still injured. Like the first couple of weeks, it was killing me. And some guys don't have it, some guys do. So it's kind of, you know, luck of the draw, I guess. And I wasn't very fortunate on that part. But about 2 years ago in 2009, I missed the last month and a half of the season, going down with a forearm strain. And they couldn't really diagnose where the pain on my elbow was coming from. They just knew that I had it. Got a bunch of MRIs done, bunch of tests, and sort of like a last-ditch effort, I ended up raising my arm slot up a little bit. I'm not so much sidearm as I used to be in college and the first couple years in the minor leagues. I'm more of like a low 3/4 now. I picked up some deception, a little bit of velocity, so that's been the biggest step over the past couple of years of my career.
Now, the Cleveland organization has to have a special place in your heart. They did draft you knowing that you had a busted wing. They saw you go through the surgery, and now you're here. Talk about what the organization means to you.
Yeah, you know, just getting phone calls, text messages, people stopping by, you know, saying that they're really proud of me because, you know, the area scout that drafted me, Jason Smith, you know, he had a lot of faith in me coming in, and he was one of the guys that really, you know, made the Cleveland Indians believe in me and start. So a lot of credit goes to him for having faith in me. I had a meeting with the Indians before I ended up having surgery, and you know, kind of talk about everything. And they had faith in their training staff and how they're able to get guys back. So an organization as a whole, going up, coordinators, cross-checkers, everybody's been really supportive of me.
Also along the way, you've had to have some special people help you out. Any specific family, friends, teammates that have been there for you along the way?
Huge support cast. My parents, my sister, family, friends, ex-teammates. I mean, there's so many people. There's just too many to count how many people have impacted me and gotten me where I am.
And talk about travel in the big leagues. I'm guessing you're enjoying the airplanes over the buses.
Yeah. The 8 and 10 hour bus rides are a thing of the past. I'm not a huge fan of flying, but when you're flying charter, it's a little more comfortable.
Talk about your routine at the major league level, the day-to-day routine. If you could pitch for 3 days and then not for a week. Talk about how you deal with that and over the long haul.
Some guys have their own little thing. Some guys like to throw a lot. I don't like to throw a lot if I'm not like pitching in games. Some guys will throw off the mound every couple of days just to stay fresh. I feel like I'm never as good in the bullpen as I am on the game mound. so I never really want to waste bullets in the pen because I don't feel like my stuff translates exactly like it does in the pen to the game. So I don't really like to get a lot of work. There was a 9-game stretch where I didn't throw this year. I had some back spasms, was out for a couple of days, and ended up going a week after that, actually being healthy, not throwing. But first game back was against the Yankees in New York, and ended up striking out Jeter, and then Teixeira hit a bomb off me, and got A-Rod after him. But you know, there's different ways to stay sharp. I consider myself a huge mental guy. I think my head is my best weapon, not so much my stuff. Ken Reeves has worked with us in the past, especially at Fullerton. So, you know, I go back to those sessions and stuff we did there to really get myself locked in.
Let's go back and talk about the beginning of your Cal State Fullerton career. It all started as a bat boy, right?
Yeah. I went to a baseball camp randomly that a former assistant was working at, and my dad started chatting up with him. You know, about a week later, I was in a Titan uniform, and yeah, it just kind of took off from there. Ended up going to the College World Series as a bat boy with him. That was exciting. I'm going to South Bend, Indiana for the regional against Notre Dame out there. So, you know, going into high school, coming out of high school, didn't really know what was going on, but the very first day that coaches can call high school players, I got a phone call from George Horton at 8 in the morning asking me to be a Titan, and it was a tough proposition to turn down.
You were a local product. Talk about all those choices that you had out of high school and the other opportunities you had.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone to a few different places. Arizona was scouting me pretty heavily. You know, a couple other schools back east, but Fullerton was really the only place that I really cared to go. That's why, you know, it took all about 3 minutes.
So there was no real thing that sealed the deal. It was you had your mind made up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even take a recruiting trip. So, yeah, I mean, I never wanted to play anywhere else. Being a bat boy, the tradition, the players that we had here, the relationships that I had with the coaching staff, my family's relationships, you know, everybody being around to be able to come to the games, you know, not having to deal with me being back east for months and months. It was convenient and a great experience.
And once you got to Fullerton, was there any kind of transition period you had to go? I'm assuming you were a starter in high school, then you became low man on the totem pole in 2004 with a pretty good staff. You were a middle reliever early on in your career. Talk about that, being the kid.
Yeah, I mean, we came in fall practice. You know, we only throw fastball changeups, and I had a fastball, but I didn't have a changeup. And my fastball that I had was straight and it was flat. So I had a rough fall, to say the least. I ended up being 14th out of 16 pitchers on the depth chart after that fall, and 16 and 15 got cut. So I was dead last in probably every stat, every category.
Is that when Coach Serrano changed you from over-the-top guy down? Did that kind of help you out? Did it change your mentality or approach? I'm guessing you gained a little bit of movement on everything. Yeah,
dropping down was probably the best decision that's ever, you know, come to my career. It just kind of happened in a random bullpen. He asked me to drop down on one, had some pretty good life on it, a little bit of action, and you know, took it into January, ended up making the travel roster after being the last guy out of fall, so that was exciting. And then obviously freshman year, getting to learn that arm angle and stuff was a little bit of a battle, but turned out being very useful.
You were lucky enough to be on 2 teams that made it to Omaha and lucky enough to win it all in 2004. Talk about your experience. I know you got about three plus innings pitching in the College World Series. Talk about that.
Yeah, that was intense. You know, going out there in front of 30,000 at that age, it prepped me for this, to be honest. Working with Ken Reeves, I can remember him, we were working in the showers. You know, we had him, he was down there and he had his little tape recorder, and he had the crowd noise in his tape recorder was echoing in the shower that we were in, and I was doing some visualization stuff to try and get used to just the energy and the people and the noise. And by the time I told the rubber, I had felt that I had already been out there. So getting back to the mental side, the mental approach that I take to the game, I think that's something that's always helped me out.
I'm betting not many players that you've come across in professional baseball have a national championship ring. Is that something you talk about with your teammates? Or
every chance I get. Every chance I get. I was fortunate enough to win a couple of championships in the minor leagues, so it's brought up some good table talk to be like, oh, you know, you guys might get a minor league ring, but you won't have opportunity to get a national championship. And it's fun to, you know, stick it to guys that I played against in college and stuff like that. So, you know, guys will talk about winning conference and stuff like that, and then I'll.
So you don't play it cool?
No, not at all, not at all. Not with something like that.
Talk about your time at Cal State Fullerton for a minute. Do you find your time there beneficial to your career now? And are there any specific things that you have brought with you and keep with you to this day?
Very much so. I mean, if I didn't go to Fullerton, I never would have dropped down, and I don't know where I'd be right now, to be honest. I don't know what career path I would have taken. I don't know, you know, where I'd be. So definitely going to Cal State Fullerton was the best career choice for me, because I don't think I'd be here in the same position I am now if not for that. And just the tradition and the guys that I played with and the relationships that I had with the coaching staff and everybody from those teams is just invaluable.
We'll talk about those relationships for a second. You still keep in touch with a lot of those guys and coaches?
Yeah, I was. We were in Toronto recently. Saw Ricky Romero. Played Kurt Suzuki in Oakland. So last year played against about 6 guys in AAA in the International League. Blake Davis, Justin Turner, PJ Piloteri, just to name a few. Just coming up with those guys, seeing them succeed, you know, I just very, very overjoyed for the success that Kurt and Ricky's having and Justin's having over at New York right now so far.
You gotten to face any of your former Titan teammates yet? And if so, how did you fare?
I faced Kurt in Oakland, got him to pop up right behind shortstop, but that was after I'd already walked 2 guys and cashed in the lead. So it was a pretty important at bat. I didn't want Zook to beat me for the game-winning run in Oakland. Blake's owned me in the minor leagues. Blake Davis. I think every time I throw that guy a fastball, he hits it in the gap somewhere. So I'd be happy if I didn't get a chance to face him again.
So you don't remember at all what they did? I'm just kidding. Did you see Ricky Romero got his first hit the other night?
I did. I saw it on SportsCenter. A little 2 RBIs too. It was nice.
So how do you envision your first hit playing out? Be a little creative here. Who's it going to be against, and where's it going to be?
I'll probably drag for a knock. I'll probably throw my back out if I try and take a hack. I don't think being a relief pitcher I'll get that opportunity unless, you know, it's a tie game and I'm out there for more than one, and it just so happens. I think the odds of me getting a bat are the same as me winning the 100 meters. So.
Do you have any advice to give any student athletes that are at Fullerton that are following in your footsteps in their Titan careers? Yeah,
just enjoy every bit of it, because you're going to look back and, you know, 7 years is going to go by since I was a freshman there. It's pretty crazy to think and look back at the start of my career there to where I am now. And there's things that I overlooked that, you know, I wish I didn't, and there's things that I'm glad that I didn't let, you know, slip through the cracks a little bit. But just enjoy every minute of it, and really don't let other people kind of dictate where your career is going to go. I've had a lot of people tell me a lot of different things, and a lot of them were not, you know, beneficiary. I didn't benefit from a lot of things that they told me because there were a lot of things that I needed to change with myself that I didn't feel that I needed to. Like a lot of guys were, you need a sharper slider, you need to throw harder, you need to do this, you need to do that. And you know, it's just believing in yourself and knowing that no matter what, you're gonna you know, accomplish your goals.
Have you run across any of your baseball idols? Have you met them or been starstruck by anybody that you've come across so far?
Somebody asked me a similar question a couple of days ago, and when we were at Yankee Stadium, after I got done with my warm-ups, Derek Jeter was coming to the plate, and he still has Bob Shepard doing his walk-up. So hearing Bob Shepard in Yankee Stadium introduce Derek Jeter was pretty special.
Speaking of walk-ups, you still come out to rock you like a hurricane?
No, I switched it up. I come out to a song called Monster by a band called Skillet.
Who is your all-time favorite Cal State Fullerton baseball player?
Oh, it's a tough one. So many great Titans. You know, it's somebody I've always admired. I've always looked up to in a way is Justin Turner. You know, he plays the game the right way. And you know, seeing him play as a freshman, seeing him play, you know, as a senior in high school, you know, as a freshman at forward, you just knew he was a special player, and that he was going to be where he is right now, making an impact in the big leagues.
Outside the College World Series, what's your favorite Cal State forward at the moment?
I mean, it's outside of it, but it's pretty close. I got the save against Tulane that sent us to the College World Series. Came in for Jason Windsor after he threw a great game. Actually, I don't think it was Jason Windsor. It was Ricky, actually. It's in my memory. But yeah, just that dog pile, that feeling of finally getting there, and then that run to the Omaha sign in right center was special.
In your time in the big league, what's your favorite city to visit so far?
Favorite city was Anaheim. Coming back home, pitching in front of family, friends. That was definitely one of the better times I've had up here.
And who has the best food, big leagues or minor leagues? What city has the best food?
New York was unbelievable. I don't venture out that much. I usually eat most of my meals at the yard, but New York just had so many different places to try, and so many people tearing you around to go to this place, go to that place, go to this place. San Francisco had great food. Chicago. I mean, a lot of the major cities are pretty packed with great places to eat.
Who was the toughest hitter you faced in the big leagues?
Oof. I might have faced him last night. Kelly Johnson just put together a great at-bat against me. 11 pitch at-bat, ended up driving up a triple in the gap. So far, I mean, there's been a few guys that I've had some battles with. A lot of the great hitters, I usually walk the first time I see them. Miguel Cabrera, walked him on 4 straight after I saw him. Evan Longoria got me for a home run in Cleveland. Teixeira's got me for a home run. There's been a guys put together some good at-bats, but I'd say the best pitcher-hitter battle I've had was against Kelly Johnson, the Diamondbacks.
Same question, college.
College. I don't know, any lefty. Any lefty. I had that game against ASU my sophomore year in the Super Regional that I ended up taking a loss in, and they had 7 out of their 9 starters were left-handed. I took 2 line drives off my right leg, and I don't think there was a non-quality AB that they took against me in that inning and 2/3 I worked.
And then the final question I have for you, have you busted out upside down man during a rain delay?
I have not. I've thought about it a couple times. I have, but I didn't know how well it'd be received up here. So I've got it in my back pocket, but I don't know if it's going to be broken out.
All right, that's it. A very special thank you to Vinnie Pestano of the Cleveland Indians. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, Mike.